At 6, kids reunited with their family after being separated for years because of the mother's alleged drug use. Independent drug tests just proved the mother was sober.
And this comes after Atlanta News First investigator Sierra Cummings uncovered some state contracted labs have a history of false positive drug screens.
Their long walk into this Roswell park, not nearly as long as the journey for this family.
Don't give up until the miracle happens.
The miracle, Deidreana Hefner says, happened Wednesday when a judge ruled in her favor, ordering to close the child welfare case against Deidreana, reuniting the mom and her daughters, who've been in foster care for 3 years.
I've just worked really hard for this, so it was overwhelming, honestly. Overwhelming in a good way, but I've just worked so hard for this. This is like all the efforts that I've put into this, especially within the past year and a half. Now it's finally like the end of it, and we get to be whole and together again.
Finally, because for so long, drugs left her family broken. She admits to past addiction, which led to arrest and intervention from the Division of Family and Children's Services, DFACS. Her kids placed with the foster family. To get them back, Deidreana agreed to DFACS random drug screens. When we first met the mom back in 2024, she'd been sober for about 3 years. But some of her drug screens did not show that. Hair follicle drug tests from DFACS subcontracted labs show multiple times she tested positive for drugs. So Deidreana says caseworkers believed she was still on drugs.
You want mommy to come with you?
She recalls DFACS lawyers even discussing possible termination of her parental rights. With few people on her side, Deidreana says she only remained strong because of her own mother's support.
It felt good because a lot of people looked at me like saying this, and my mom was, and people would tell my mom like, well, the drug test is saying this, and my mom was like, I know my daughter is not using.
A year-long Atlanta News First investigation uncovered a history of concerns and formal complaints of false positives from Georgia labs. We found some labs contracted to do drug screens on behalf of DFACS don't typically perform a specialized drug test called DL isomer. The test distinguishes between legal drugs like medicine versus illicit drugs. Although not required by the state, it could help minimize claims of false positives. So, at the advice of an attorney, and after watching our previous investigation, Deidreana began to get independent drug screens too. Every time DFACS tested her, she went to a third-party lab as well.
They're not cheap. They're expensive. I mean, I've come out of pocket money that I did not have just to prove my innocence.
Yeah.
So,
would you say over the last few years you've spent hundreds and hundreds to do it?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. I mean, probably about $1,000.
But a process that proved priceless.
You want me to go on the slide with you?
For these very moments. Armed with repeated negative drug screens from independent labs, Deidreana was able to fight in court and win custody of her kids.
I was upset at the system, really, because I knew that I was sober and they were trying to tell me that I wasn't, and I had to jump through hoops and I mean, they already make you do a lot, and I was doing all of that, but then I had to do even more to prove that I was sober, and it took longer, but I'm where I'm at now.
We reached out to the Division of Family and Children's Services for comment on this story. We're still waiting on a formal response. The agency's practice, though, is to not comment on specific cases, but a spokesperson did previously confirm they plan to conduct an audit on these issues. In the studio, I'm Sierra Cummings. Atlanta News First investigates.